The way today's economy is, more and more people are forced to start a business, and a lot of those businesses are actually home-based businesses. And the startling statistic is that there are over 6 million businesses started every single year in America. And unfortunately, within about 5 years, 90% of them will be gone. And people don't really understand why. And there's a simple reason why, and it's because they're following what I call the failure model. And there's two models in business. You can follow the success model and you can follow the failure model. And only 10% of businesses happen to follow the success model. And let me break that down because it's really simple. The failure model is what most people do. Now, it happens in big business and it happens in small business, home-based business, and a lot of times in multi-level marketing and network marketing businesses. You find a hot product that you think is hot, a product or service that you want to sell, and you invest your time and energy into it, and then you try to find somebody to sell it to. That's a little backwards. Because when you get home, you discover that nobody really wants it. And you shouldn't discover nobody wants it after you have it home, after you've invested the time and the money into it. So initially, you try to sell to all your family and friends, and they'll buy it from you the first time, but they really don't want it. And you try to push it to them again, and they try to avoid you like the plague because they really don't want to be around you anymore. And so you don't want to follow the failure model because that's a recipe for getting out of business quickly, and you'll be back on the job. What you want to do is you want to have people actually beating down your door trying to find you so they can buy your product or service. And the way you do that is you find a hot target market who already shows that they want to spend money on something, because you have to think about it. If you're into something, you're really into it. People who are into golf are into golf. They buy the magazines, they buy the clubs, they buy the shoes, they buy the funny clothes, they buy the membership into the country club, they buy the videos on trying to make their game better. So if you're into something, you're going to keep spending more and more and more and more money on it. I mean, some of you have probably done it. I know I've done it. I bought the same thing twice a few times because I was so into some things. And so what you want to do is you want to find that hot target market that has money, who already wants to spend money on something, has a voracious appetite for it, and you give them exactly what they want. You just find out what they want and you give it to them and you deliver it to them in the way that they want it. You make it easily accessible. And you have your marketing message speak directly to them in a format that they want to receive it. And so you have to look at several things. You have to look at the target market. You have to look at the age and the demographics of that target market, find out what they want, how they want it, and you give it to them. Now, how do you find the hot target market? That's the trick. People say, well, how do I find this target market? Well, it's as simple as going to any good bookstore that has a periodical section. So you go to the periodical section, and they have the magazines there, and the magazines are broken down by trade, by interest. And so they may have a travel section, for instance. If you go to the travel section and you see there are 50 magazines on travel, then there's some people spending money on travel. And so you start flipping through the magazines. And don't flip through it just 1 month. Flip through it a few months in a row. And the advertisements in there that repeat themselves over and over and over are making money. So you'll find out exactly what people want. Now, there's two things you can do. You can compete with them and sell exactly what that other person is selling, or you can find a complementary product and even create a joint venture partnership with that person. And so if they sell the shoes, then you may sell the little spikes on the golf shoes, and becomes a complementary product or service. So you're not competing with them, and you automatically get all of their clients when you bring them in. And so you want to be able to find this target market and deliver it in a way that's important to them. And so if it's a baby boomer crowd, you're not necessarily going to use the internet. If it's Generation Next, you're not going to necessarily use the newspaper. So you have to find that way that people want to receive that message and speak directly to them. When you speak directly to them, they'll keep coming back over and over and over again. You'll always make money.